Hi, I'm Vanchika from White Falcon, and today we have with us Anjana Thakker, ma'am, who brings just happiness and all the happiness just by being on this meeting. And I'm sure her book, Radiate Happiness, would bring you as much as happiness. I felt reading her book and creating content around the book. The book is available in two formats, hardcover and paperback. You can always order from Amazon, Flipkart, and WFB store. So, Anjana, you are known as a happiness coach. I have seen your Instagram and wonderfully happy content, happy vibe that you're creating through your Instagram page. Before I begin, what was that one thing that absolutely made you happy today?
Well, let me start by saying thank you for having me here and thank you for your patience for us to finally get this interview together. What has made me happy today is being here today. I think I wake up in the morning and I'm actually grateful. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but I think I wake up every morning just being grateful for the fact that I have woken up. So I
Right.
think that's it. And being here on this interview with you finally is very nice. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure for me as well. And like your book says, radiate happiness. I think we have been receiving a lot of happiness with your book, just like I mentioned about #4 on Amazon today. That was one thing that brought me happiness as well. And now that your book is titled Radiate Happiness, and I think that is a central message that you're trying to spread to the book. Why did you choose this phrase and what does it mean to you personally?
So I think it's actually there. There's a chapter on it when I thought of naming it something else and how I got to radiate happiness. And it's really interesting because everything that I work with is called Anjana Shambhala. Sorry. And the plan was to call the book Anjana Shambhala, which is Shambhala is, I mean, it's all in the book, it's written there. But when I spoke to people, and I remember having a conversation, in fact, with my brother in law, and I said, do you know what Shambhala means? And he says, no. And I said, if my own brother in law doesn't understand what Shambhala is, what am I trying to say? So then I sat and I thought of a lot of different things. And I said, what is the main purpose? If I'm sitting and talking to you by the time we finish this call today, what would I like to do? I'd like you to be a little drop happier if you could, right? So if I can radiate some happiness, I'm hoping by the time you go home and you sit to study for your exam, there's a little more happiness within you to be able to do it. So that's where it comes from.
Do you feel that writing a book where you are sending a message or spreading happiness, radiating happiness, has a lot to do with how happy you are with your life and how content you are with your life?
You know, my dear, you've read the book. I know you have because you've asked me personal questions about it. You can see I am where I am today, but I've also had my fair share of difficulty. I think the most important thing for each and every one of us to remember is life is as happy as we allow ourselves to be. Life is as happy as we make it out to be. I, of course, have a difficult day here and there, you know. I mean, I'm going to take you as an example. I barely know you, but you have exams on and you're sitting here and you're doing this, right? And you may say, damn, I have to do this today. But if you turn that, damn, I have to do this today to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it and something good's going to come out of it and I'm going to work faster to make my exams better. It's just the mindset. So, happiness, for me to be able to radiate happiness, is actually waking up and having these tools within me which say, what can I do to help someone be happier today?
Right.
And that's where I think it comes from.
Oh, you mentioned how you share your share of struggles in the book as well, and which is an ironical thing to what the title say, the use of word happiness. And I think that's very important to use. You share your struggles of health issues, the diverse, and so on and so forth. So now, how did you figure out that these are the things I want to include in the book? And what was your intention in doing so? What message did you want your readers to get through, mentioning your share of struggles?
So, I think when I started the book and I started putting points down, I'm not an author. I mean, today I'm an author, but I wasn't an author, right? So I didn't know what to do. People said you should have a proper plan and have notes and stuff. I've really written the book from my heart. So I sat one day and I started writing. And I said, this is not nice that happened in my past. But it did change me and it impact me. And honestly, I spoke to my husband and I spoke to my children. And I said, if you don't mind, I'm going to share a little bit about my not nice past, but I'm going to share it because I'm hoping it's going to help people understand that even though, excuse my word language, shit happens, right? Even though it happens, we can still move on. It's your choice to say, okay, I'm just going to stay here. I've had such a bad thing. This is horrible what's happened. Or you know what? I'm going to move on from here. Because Vanshika, nobody can help you move on except yourself.
Books like these, they are so important to read on days when you feel low and there's some instant boost of energy that you get in la la la. You were just instantly on la la land from being in a jail somewhat. So thank you for writing this book, one.
Thank
And
you.
in one of the chapters you mentioned forgiveness, and there's a huge emphasis on forgiveness, which is what I also mentioned on blog. I love that part.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is not just forgiving the other person, it's forgiving you, yourself as well, and people, everyone around you. How forgiveness has perhaps, brought you the strength to even pen the idea of forgiveness that you have in the book.
There's so much around forgiveness. Okay. And I think there's a very wrong concept of forgiveness. People say, why should I forgive this person? This person has done so and so to me. I'm holding on to that anger. I'm holding on to that agitation. I'm the one suffering. If I'm not forgiving you, I'm suffering. Because I'm saying, what does she think of herself? Why will I forgive her? This is how she behaved with me. No. What am I doing to myself in the bargain? But when you read deeper and you realize you're not forgiving there's also, like I've said, the inner forgiveness, outer
Yeah.
forgiveness when you read about that, right? So sometimes you forgive the person internally, so you're at peace. And that is what is really important. Because at the end of the day, you want to feel happy, you want to feel peaceful. So you need to forgive for yourself. So forgiveness is actually selfish, so it's okay. It's a very good selfish to be.
Makes sense. In just a few minutes ago, you also mentioned that you weren't a writer, but now that you are, what brought you to writing a book? From being a healer to talking to people, healing them through quote unquote happiness. What made you write Radiate Happiness?
So I host a lot of workshops. I host workshops on happiness. I do talks on forgiveness and all different kind of things, healings and all kinds of stuff. And I still remember this workshop so clearly. There were only 8 people, and it was a very deep, intense workshop. And one of them said, Anjana, why don't you write a book? Because sometimes you do a workshop and you leave and you don't carry it with you. Sometimes we don't. We go for a workshop and then, come on, we all know we all do that.
Yeah.
So he said, write a book. So it's there with us as a reminder always. I said, are you crazy? I said, Adil, I'm not a writer. I can't do this. This is just not something I do. But that put a seed in my head. And then again, somebody said, write. And then I thought to myself, okay, let me give it a shot. So honestly, I started writing this quite a few years ago. Then I stopped in between saying, nah, what am I doing? I'm not a writer. I left the project completely. It was just on the out. It was just out completely. And from somewhere again, it was like, no, you have to complete it. And that's what got me here too. And with you to be where I am today.
In the process of writing, in the process of letting people know, you have also mentioned a lot of exercises that one should do, and journaling has been talked about a lot ever since. I'm myself a big fan of journaling.
Good.
Sorry. It's not easy to convince people around you that journal. You can't go and shout journal, journal, journal. How do you plan to do that for people reading this book?
So I'm hoping that I'll tell you something. You said you were so bang on. You cannot tell people to journal. I have sat with clients and I'm like, just do it for 11 days. to 5 lines. No, writing is something I can't. I'm sorry. I'll do anything else. Don't make me do writing. So, yes, it's the most difficult thing. And there are many tools. And the reason I've given different tools is you may relate with only one, and that may help you. But for another person, it may be completely another tool, and the one you're using may be just not something they can use. So, I've given a lot of tools. The more you use, the easier life gets, I presume, right? Or I presume in my case, I would say the more tools I used, the easier I felt, the lighter I felt. It's up to you to choose. I actually created a diary, okay? And I will actually send you. Please let me, I will send you a diary, okay? And the diary is called Today I. Okay. And I created it many years ago and I gave it as gifts to people to encourage them to start writing. Because I said, okay, just write today I anything. Today I ate food. Today I went for a walk. So it was that, and then it was just a little thing. I'm definitely going to send it to you. Please share your address. But I've even tried to that extent to make people journal. But at the end of the day, you can only, what's the saying? You can take a horse up to the water, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the person who's not supposed to journal isn't going to journal. Maybe they're going to work with another form of gratitude,
Yeah.
or they're going to use some other tool.
Right. Apart from helping people radiate happiness, was your intention also to let go of your past, your tensions that you might have through this book?
So, it's really interesting you're asking this because I think, well, the book has just started selling and thankfully it's selling well. Considering you said it's number 4 on Amazon. Um, I believe when you write, so when you journal, and if you're angry about something and you go home today and you say, I'm really angry at Anjana because she was 15 minutes late for our interview, right? The minute you write it, you've released it. Okay? If it's in your heart and you keep thinking about it, yes, it's still there. So maybe in the process of writing this book, I have also released more than I think I needed to.
In Radiate Happiness, you invite readers to return to their light for those who feel disconnected or distant from this light. What practical steps do you think they can use to reconnect to their true self?
There's two things. One is you say connect to the light. What is the light within? Each of us has a different light within. Okay. So when you say, I don't say connect back to the light in any way. That's not what I think. I believe we all have. Today you are happy.
Yeah.
Okay. But can I tell you something? You can be a little happier, can't you? So can I.
Yeah.
Blessed, I'm grateful today, but I know I can be happier. So, all I'm trying to do from the book is not telling anybody to return to the light as much as saying, what will it take for you to radiate a little more happiness in your life? How can I help you radiate more happiness? And all the tools that are in the book, I believe, will help you radiate more happiness.
Every book has an ideal reader, the target audience. Who do you think is your target audience? It's me, of course,
I,
but who is?
no, I'll tell you, it's really funny you ask this because I have been asked this question by so many people. Okay. And I have worked with people who are 8 years old, and I worked with people who are, I think the oldest must be now 87, 88 years old. Okay. I believe each one of us wants to be more happy and joyful. Why should it be only women aged 30 to 55 going through this, having this? No, no, I don't agree with that. I think every man, every woman, every child from anywhere, I think is entitled to be happier. The reason I'm translating the book into Hindi and coming out with the Hindi version, it should be out hopefully in the next few weeks, is because I wanted to reach more people. It's not about the sales.
Yeah.
Of course, it's wonderful to have great sales. There's no denying that. I would love it to be a bestseller. But if I could touch a few more people and help them to be a little happier, honestly, that's what I want. It's truly, truly what I want.
So, how would you certainly like to sort of conclude this by saying your reader to pick this book, like India Pick Up Radiate Happiness?
Wow. So if you ask me why should you buy the book? I'll say for any one of you who wants to be a little happier, feel a little lighter, have more joy in their life, give it a shot. It's definitely worth trying to be happier. And if this can help you, I'm really very grateful to be. But like I said, all I want to do is touch a few people's hearts. And if I can touch those people's hearts, I feel I have fulfilled
Right.
something.
Yeah. So, like Anjana ma'am mentioned on how this book is taking over people's heart, and I assure this is actually one of the bestsellers that we have right now. We are running out of copies every time, and pick up this book. This book is available on all the stores, like I mentioned, Amazon, Flipkart, and WFP store, and while you do this, also don't forget to tag ma'am and let her know about what do you feel about this book, because I did not shy away, and which is why I am here at the interview talking to her in length, and I'm sure she would be more than happy to listen
So
things about her book. Yeah.
I definitely would. Thank you so much. Really sweet. Really nice of you to say all of this.